Hey everyone, it's Monday and I'm here with a new video devotion for you to share with your family. Remember that starting this week, I will be releasing new devotions across all our youth ministry social media on Mondays and Fridays. And then on Wednesdays, we'll be releasing new worship videos in our Together series, which is a collaboration of a growing number of youth ministries in North Carolina Baptist churches. The theme for the next 4 weeks will be Staying Together, based on teachings from 1 Peter chapter 3, which teaches members of a family to remain together in harmony and compassion. So I hope you'll participate in all these opportunities to keep feeding your spirit while we can't gather together in person. One last thing, many in our youth group had a really fun Zoom hangout last night. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and we typically take that Sunday off from youth ministry activities since so many of your families travel during this weekend. However, I suspect none of us will be traveling to a place where we can't spare at least a few moments to connect with each other. So I'll be sending out information on our Sunday night Zoom gathering very soon to all your families. Now, let's dive into our devotion. Last week, we imagined what heaven might be like based on clues we find in scriptures. This week, I want to take us in a little bit of a different direction because while it's certainly interesting to imagine what eternity might be like, I think it's much more important to imagine how we might make the most out of this life. So I'm going to look at a Bible verse that is featured this week in what's called the Revised Common Lectionary, which is like a schedule for reading the Bible. One of the lectionary readings for this week comes from John chapter 17, when Jesus is praying to God for his disciples. This prayer happens right before Jesus is arrested and then crucified, and Jesus anticipates that his disciples will be both discouraged and afraid for their lives. So in verse 11, Jesus asks God to protect them so that they may be one. In what was about to be the most difficult test the disciples would yet face, Jesus was asking God to keep them united. You may have seen the Disney Pixar movie Finding Nemo. And in that movie, there's a scene where a fishing boat nets a huge catch of hundreds, if not thousands of fish. And as the net begins to tighten and haul the fish up onto the boat, all of the fish are panicking. But then Nemo begins to tell the fish to swim together straight down against the pull of the net. And when all the fish begin working together, they're able to pull the net back down until it eventually snaps and they all swim free. This scene is a perfect example of the power and strength we have when we are united, especially when we're in challenging situations. Right now, we're in a challenging situation with the COVID-19 pandemic. And in this situation, it's very hard to know what our best path forward is. As our communities begin to reopen slowly, it's difficult to feel completely safe. So let's think about Jesus' prayer for his disciples to be united in their challenges. How can we pull together? I think there's some easy and practical ways that we can show unity with our neighbors in our community, especially if we venture out to shops or offices. And one thing that we can do is to be respectful of personal space. Now, we all have different opinions about whether we need to wear gloves or masks, but you can show unity with your neighbors by taking these precautions to keep one another safe from infection. So by wearing a mask, you're not just protecting yourself, you're telling others that you value their health too. This also applies to our interactions with people who don't live with us in our homes. It's important to maintain that 6 feet of social distance and then talk openly with them in order to learn their comfort levels because we all feel safe in different ways. And that's just a good piece of advice whether we're in a pandemic or not. So once again, show your unity during this scary and challenging season by considering the needs of others as well as your own. I'm pretty sure Jesus said a little something like that called the Golden Rule when he said, treat others as you would like to be treated. I invite you to go back and read John chapter 17 in full to see Jesus' entire prayer for his disciples. And then talk with your family about ways that you can show unity with your neighbors. Until next time, be safe and healthy, and feel free to share this video devotion with a friend. I hope to see you soon.